Why do Catholics have a pope? Some people might argue they don't need someone telling them what to do. They don't need a pope. But let me ask you this. How well does a team function without a coach? What successful business has no boss? What band doesn't have someone counting out the beat? What thriving nation doesn't have a king, a prime minister, or president to guide the way? We know that when people gather for a common reason, whether that's sports, politics, or a job, that they function better and they're more organized when they have a leader guiding the way. Jesus knew this. He established the role of the Pope. He knew that once he would leave this world, he would need somebody to carry on the traditions and the teachings, and so he appointed Peter as the first Pope. He said, "Simon, you are Peter, you are the rock." He changed his name in this moment. "And upon this rock I will build my church. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound on heaven. And I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven." Like, that's a super important task that he gave to Peter, to give him authority over all the apostles, to entrust in him the future of the church, to carry on Jesus's teachings. Peter is that foundational, that first leader, and he's the chair to hold the unity of all. After the resurrection, Peter and the other apostles were out fishing and they saw Jesus on the shore. Peter grabbed his net of fish and he drug it to Jesus, symbolic of being a fisher of men, but also leading the fish to Jesus. And they sat on the shore and Jesus asked Peter, "Hey, Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yes, Lord, I love you." He said, "Tend my sheep." He asked him again, "Peter, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, you know I do." "Feed my sheep." He asked him 3 times, which it does make up for the 3 times that Peter denied him while Christ was suffering during his passion. But also, what's significant is that Jesus is giving command of Peter to be the shepherd of the flock. Now, Jesus is the good shepherd, but he knew he was leaving earth. He would need somebody to be in his place. Peter became the Vicar of Christ, that substitute good shepherd on earth to lead the church, to lead the people, and that God and Jesus would work through him. And when Peter's time to lead had ended, before he was killed for his faith, both he and St. Paul had chosen Linus to take over as the next pope. And when Linus's time was up, Anacletus took over, and so on. This list of popes continues on for 2,000 years now. Pope Francis was the 266th successor of St. Peter. And this line of succession, when one person takes over from the previous person, is called Apostolic Succession. It means that this role goes all the way back to the apostles. This leadership, this pope role, is continuing the traditions and the teachings from the apostles who learned it directly from Jesus himself. So what does the Pope do anyway? Well, in a nutshell, he is the spiritual leader, our spiritual father of all Catholics. The word Pope comes from the Greek word papas for father, our shepherd. He appoints bishops and cardinals who help lead the faithful at a local level. He teaches and inspires us through his homilies, encyclicals, letters, most often addressing contemporary issues through the perspective of our Catholic beliefs. One major contribution of Pope Francis was his encyclical about caring for our earth and the environment, how we as Christians were entrusted with the earth and we need to be good stewards of its resources. And finally, the Pope also serves as a diplomat between nations. Now that Pope Francis has passed, may God rest his soul, what happens next? Stay tuned.